Now, obviously, you're an advocacy of no. The polls are now starting to trend that way, and even the Guardian poll, which has basically been the last to actually get out of the force yes, no, and start to get into the unsure, and I think that's the quiet no. Well, that's now starting to show in every single state that it hasn't cracked 50 yet. Close in a few places, but those numbers are going the way that that you and many people watching us right now would be more than happy for it to be there. I just want to ask about the day after. Let's imagine no is successful or this thing is defeated. What happens the day after? What is the sort of things that will become your priority? Because I know that, you know, there's this fight right now, but I want to know what's after this fight right now.
Sure. Well, you know, Paul, there are many community members across the country that have ideas for improving circumstances on the ground. Grassroots, we're talking grassroots individuals here. You know, again, I don't know how many times I've talked about the Yiparina School here in Alice Springs that takes care of our most marginalised kids, but they've got a proposal on the table. I would suggest to Minister Burney that the first thing she does is make sure that that proposal is finally actually funded, because that issue is being kicked down the can. That issue has been kicked down the road. It's not being dealt with immediately. As I've been travelling around the country and speaking to Indigenous groups around the country, they put in front of me, you know, what their proposals are for a lot of the issues that they're confronted with, and they're really common sense ideas. Their problem is they can't get a meeting with the Minister for Indigenous Australians because she travels to communities and speaks to bureaucracies as opposed to grassroots individuals. So I would be amplifying the voices of those individuals immediately afterward, and I'd continue to engage with them to fight and advocate on their behalf until such time as we have our federal election. And I would be fighting to ensure that we get back into power, because aside from ensuring that those voices are heard, I would be conducting a forensic audit into the billions of dollars that are spent on advancing Indigenous Australians year in, year out, and determining where it can be actually invested appropriately to produce outcomes, holding to account those who are misspending those funds, and actually doing a lot better than what we've done. I'd be untangling the mess that the Indigenous industry has become, as opposed to plonking some new entity over the top of it all. But you know what? I'd be encouraging Australians to get back to our shared Australian values, to be proud of who we are again, because so much damage would have occurred either way of the result of this referendum going forward.
Yeah, I'm with you. Senator, lovely to talk. I know we were planning on other things, but I had to talk about the territory and obviously that question, because, again, remember, this is one of the options that will be there at the next federal election. Do you want Linda Burney or do you want Jacinta Nampijinpa Price in a position to actually do something? The answer to me, rather clear. Thank you, mate. Nice to talk to you.
Thanks, Paul.